We're on the thing. Hello.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday Super Show. As we talked about a little bit yesterday, we're going to try some different programming for a few weeks. So we're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday Super Show, and then we're going to take a break. You get to catch up on the other stuff on YouTube. So yeah, it's now time for the Tuesday Super Show. I just saw that, Ron Magani. Yes, they bought Smosh back.
What?
I literally, it came over Twitter like as I was scrolling just prior to the show. They bought Smosh back. So expect us to talk about that tomorrow.
Okay.
I imagine that will be a topic tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna
hush.
I imagine we will talk about that tomorrow. So apparently, yes. Apparently that happened again. I literally was scrolling to it and like, And then there was a big thing. It was like, we bought Smosh. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So don't forget, if you want to keep up with everything that's going on in store, go to gamersheavenpnw.com. We just got in some new Yu-Gi-Oh! For this week. We're going to be getting in some more Lord of the Rings Magic sets. We're going to be all over the place. So gamersheavenpnw.com. If you're there, that'll lead you to all of our socials, like our lovely Discord and Facebook pages and Twitters. And sometimes we post things to exclusive places. So if you really want to see all the stuff that's going on, you got to follow us everywhere.
Oh yeah, Phil dropped a 5-minute lore video. We filmed some 5-minute lore videos for Warhammer, and we started out with Leagues of Votan. So that was a little editing project I did. If you want to see Phil just empty out his brain of a Warhammer lore in 5 minutes, which was a challenge.
It's a good video. I actually watched that one the other day, and it's a solid video.
Thanks. I'm biased, but I think so too.
I thought it was a very solid one. So, as always, if you have any questions, if you saw something besides Smosh, which is going to be a whole other time, we're going to have to do that as a whole topic tomorrow. But besides that, if you want to talk about anything, drop it into the chat, and we'll get to it at the end of the show. After we get to our planned topics for the day, we always take your questions right at the end, and sometimes they turn into some really funny, interesting discussions.
You guys got some good stuff.
We do.
Thank you.
We really, really do get some good stuff. TikTok, that's so big that why no big Yu-Gi-Oh! Events like case tournaments or sneak peeks? We do buy-a-box tournaments, or win-a-box tournaments. We haven't done case because case gets really expensive. And most of the Yu-Gi-Oh! People around here, most of our Yu-Gi-Oh! Crowd has not asked for case tournaments for the Seattle location. But we do a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament every other Wednesday, and that's win-a-box. So, and that's got a pretty good solid turnout. We like our Yu-Gi-Oh! Folks. And again, I believe the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Set will be out tomorrow on shelves in our store. So you can come in and grab that tomorrow.
Also curious, like, does that puts more financial pressure on us, but does it put more financial pressure to win on them
I think it does.
Too?
I think it does. Here's the thing. A lot of people, there's a weird, like, kind of demand curve there, right? We actually run into this a lot with Magic drafts, right?
Yes.
So there will be Magic drafts that are more expensive. Like we tried to do Dragons of Tarkir last week, and there's some people in our community who were like, dude, I will do the $50, $60, $70 drafts, like for the cool sets, right? And then there are other people who it's just too expensive. We actually saw this with this pre-release. Phil and I were just talking about this before the show. This pre-release is about 30% more expensive than a normal pre-release kit. It's pricey. And so it prices out a section of your market that just doesn't have the ability to pay that kind of an amount for their stuff.
And we're
going to talk about this at the end.
We ain't got that many whales in the store.
And again, actually stay to the end of this, Drew, because actually our last topic today is actually right on this subject. So we're going to save the rest of that for that. Yeah. As always, we want this to be a conversation like you're hanging out in the game store with us, even though you're not at the game store right now. It's so that we can have the giantest community around. And so in classic game store fashion, we're going to have our first topic today. And oh boy, they released the new Kraven the Hunter trailer yesterday. And Pete and I sat down to watch the Kraven the Hunter trailer. The Red Band, specifically the Red Band trailer came out.
Yes.
Pete, what were your initial thoughts?
Most stabbings I've ever seen in a movie trailer. It was a lot. Yeah, and I watched the Shoot 'em Up Red Band trailer and got excited for it. But this one, that was a lot of shooty. This was a lot of stabby.
Yeah. There was a bear trap over a guy's head. There was the biting out of an eyeball. YouTube channel's like, that was a collection of footage. Yes, it was. Very much so.
Thank you for the biddies.
Thank you for the bits. Yeah, that was definitely, what is that in the thing? Is that like a rocket? Anyway, here's the thing. I'll give it to Sony. Between Venom and Morbius and now Kraven, they've definitely decided to be like, we're going to be the grown-up Marvel.
They decided it's Morbin time. And they went.
Yes.
The Rhino, yes. They did show the Rhino. I was surprised that
We got, but
brought
not a
that up.
full view of him.
Just his arm. I was surprised to see that, like, another villain in there. But yeah.
So yeah, I'm super curious what they're gonna do with it. Again, Venom, super violent. Both Venom movies, and both of those were very well received.
Yeah.
They've done those. Morbius was a misstep. Let's say that.
A meme misstep.
A meme misstep.
Did that movie make its money back just
No.
on meme viewership?
Oh, dear God, no.
So
Dear
people,
God, no.
People
No,
watching it 7 times just for the meme still couldn't.
They took a markdown on that.
Aww.
Really bad.
Aww.
So now you mentioned, because you were like, who is that? And it's the guy from Kick-Ass.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to repeat?
Yeah, go.
I said, it's amazing what 10 years of beard and bodybuilding will do to transform a person. I, from the trailer, didn't recognize him. Pulled up his name, and I was like, that's the kid from Kick-Ass. That's nuts. Like, and you did just totally different person. Totally different person. So, good for him.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, it's an amazing amount of work. They're doing the adult Marvel thing better than DC. I would agree with that. Bullet Train's actually on my list of stuff to watch. They are doing the adult version of Marvel better than DC's trying to do the like gritty.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so there's like 3 stages, right? There's Marvel, the MCU, the normal, which is like, haha, yeah, da comic book movie,
Yeah.
PG-13 at most. And then you have DC's, which is like a little more serious, grimdark, and with the Flash movie recently,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we're doing an adults table thing. And then you have the Venom verse with Kraven, and we're like, we're biting out eyeballs, we're stabbing people in the neck, we're stabbing people in the throat.
Venom's talking about eating people.
Yes. Yeah. So there's like 3 stages, and Marvel has the first and the third stage, and DC is in the middle there.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, I definitely think they're doing it better. I think it's a good character. And so here's my question. When are they finally... I'm wondering when Sony's finally going to get around to putting at least a Spider-Man into this universe. Like, that was my initial question when they did the Venom movie, right? Was how do you do Venom with no Spider-Man? Because in the comic books, he's intrinsically tied in his rivalry with Spider-Man. Like, that's a big part of the character of Eddie Brock specifically. And it is still the Eddie Brock Venom.
But we've seen with Marvel, they've been really good at isolating things in their separate films and then smashing them together at some point.
This is their Sony stuff. It's Sony. It's not Disney.
You don't think they're advising, though?
I'm sure they're advising them, and I'm sure, and all their stuff says in association with Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ramen says Sony's doing better than DC, and Sony has made Marvel movies, so shit. It is downright miracle that they made the Spider-Verse movies. Yo.
And they've done the Spider-Verse movies, which are phenomenal.
Spider-Man is kicking off the last few years, and I'm so excited about it. I was of the age at the time of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Me too.
And those were probably some of the better superhero movies at the time. So
For
we were
sure.
all like, yes. And now, 15 years later, once it started kicking up, we're like, oh yeah, now we meme on it as like whatever. But yeah, it's great. I'm glad to see him get more love.
For how much they negotiated for Spider-Man, they haven't used him in anything. So the deal with Spider-Man and Disney expired. It's done. Now, Tom Holland has said that they are in talks on Spider-Man 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that I think they have a general story, because they already pitched Tom Holland the story. Because Tom Holland was really close to being like, I'm done with Spider-Man.
I mean, you get tired.
Yeah, for sure. And he said he's taking the next 12 months off from acting, which is fine. They won't be ready to go into production on that.
He should.
Absolutely, he should.
Yeah, burnout's how you see these celebrities act a fool and get, whatever in these videos, or like Christian Bale and his freak out in Terminator type of deal. You got to take breaks.
You
in
do.
Anything.
But he said that they've got a story that they pitched him that he likes. Now, I don't know who's producing Spider-Man 4, whether it's Sony or Disney. That's a good question. I don't know if he's going to be in the MCU. There's a lot of like, we just don't know.
Yeah.
Because of how they've structured that deal.
Can I just say, I know it's like dated.
But same thing
now.
with Kraven. Like, you need Spider-Man.
It was so nice to see Tom Holland in the Infinity War movies.
Yeah.
It was so like to finally see that. I was like, this is really really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, when are we gonna see the sandwich happen? When are we gonna see it mash up?
I have no idea. Now I do have a theory. Because obviously in our Sonyverse we've got the 2 Venom movies. You got Morbius. Mm-hmm. You now have Kraven the Hunter coming. Right?
Yeah.
Now there's another movie they're filming right now, or they were as of a couple of days. I'll have to check and see if they're done. Madam Web.
I'm not familiar.
So Madam Web is a character from the comic books, and she exists. So you know how you see like the big Spider-Verse in the Beyond the Spider-Verse movies? And actually, if you go all the way back to the 90s cartoon, she was in the 90s cartoon a lot because there was multiple Spider-Men. Like, she was a multiversal kind of being.
Okay.
Right? And they're doing a Madam Web movie now. Okay. And I'm curious if that's where the mashup happens, or if they suck Tom Holland into the Sonyverse via the Madam Web film. Because there is no Spider-Man in the Venomverse. Now, Venom did end up in the MCU for a second.
Yeah.
He got portaled into the MCU.
Okay.
And then he got drunk. And then when he got sucked back to his normal one, I don't know if they're making Kraven an anti-hero. And I'm responding to chat now.
Yeah.
Because the tagline for the film is like, villains aren't born, they're made.
Is Lobo DC or Marvel?
Lobo's DC.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, anti-heroes and villains are kind of the
again. The tagline for in the trailer is "Villains aren't born; they're made." So I'm curious. I'm really curious. It looks exceedingly violent.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they're holding back. It looks like the premise is he gets lion's blood, and Russell Crowe is his dad. And Russell Crowe leaves him for dead.
Yeah.
After a lion attacks him, and then the lion blood gets in him, and he develops some sort of connection with animals. And there's another scene where you see him like communicating with a wolf, and then the wolf like jumps a dude. And
yeah. There's a lot there. Russell Crowe, I just like Russell Crowe. I thought he was great as Zeus. And he fits in that role. Leaving your kid after he gets mauled by a lion and not taking his body, interesting. I remember when we were watching it, a drop of lion's blood went into a wound, and I was like, is that how he becomes the hunter?
I think so.
I was like, and now he just wants to hunt humans? Like, it's a little bit of a weak premise for an origin story, but I was like, you know what? It's a comic book film. I'll just let it have it. It's fine.
We'll just go with it.
So we'll just go with it for the sake of just getting there. Yep. Sure. So, what do you think?
I think it's got potential. Again, if it's good like the Venom movies, if it's solidly written,
winning,
it'll be fine. Who needs tiger's blood when you have lion's blood? This is true.
I did think that it was a shame that it wasn't a tiger, because we would get the tiger blood meme all over. Like, I was like, oh, they're missing out. We have
the Charlie Sheen tiger blood meme.
They're missing out on some guerrilla marketing here just with the memes from doing that. I was like, but they don't need it. They'll be fine.
Somebody else in the chat saying, I feel like Kraven being insane and just built different would have been easier to accept. I think if their plan is to take Madam Web to suck Tom Holland back into the Spider-Verse, into the Venomverse, then I think that you need Kraven to be superhuman of sorts.
Yeah.
For him to, for it to work.
Yeah.
Now, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if that's what their plan is to suck Tom Holland back in with Madam Web.
Kelsey. So is Morbius going to be in the after credit scene saying, quote, people like us need to form a syndicate?
I mean, it's obvious. I mean, they haven't completely set up the Sinister Six in that there's no Doc Ock, there's no Goblin. We actually haven't seen a Goblin That's the one. I mean, aside from the Goblin that got sucked into the Tom Holland thing, that was actually Toby's Goblin.
Yeah.
Tom Holland Spider-Man hasn't faced his own Green Goblin.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yes. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Anyway, let us know what you think. So far, everything I've seen from the Kraven thing, I want to see it.
I do too.
I want to see it.
Well, Deadpool corpse.
As far as I know, Deadpool is still filming right now. So Ryan Reynolds is not allowed to ad-lib.
Megami, I got your thing about the Doom 2 map. I added it. If it's okay with you, I would want to do a little bit of research so I can talk more about it.
Yeah.
So I've got it on the chat topics, and I'm sorry to put it off, but that might be another one that we talk about tomorrow. So sorry. I just don't want to be like, well, they did it. It's big. Good job. People are amazing.
Yep.
I want to actually give a little bit more thought into that response.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely have to go look at that one. All right. So that's the end of our socket. Again, as you noticed, people are dropping topics into the chat. So if you have any topics you'd like for us to talk about at the tail end of the show when we get into the discussion, drop them in the chat in whatever platform you're on.
Yes.
We have 3 of you now. There are so many people in each one of the things. So if you have something you want us to talk about, drop it into the chat, and we will try and get to it at the end of the show. We already have 2 for tomorrow's rundown, which is great. So thank you all for that.
Yeah. As far as hobbies being too expensive, that's something we're actually going to talk about here in a little bit.
Yep.
So I've seen a couple of you be like, hey, this. I'm like, gotcha. We're on it. So, yes. We may have some surprising takes for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, our second topic today, PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is a big financial firm, they do a lot of industry analysis stuff. They just released their newest analysis on the video game industry. Traditional games only make up 26.7% of the industry.
Traditional games?
Yeah. That being consoles and PC.
Okay.
That's it. 26%. The majority of the thing is social gaming, which is 69%.
So we're talking about phone games?
Yep. Social and casual gaming, anything that falls under that category, makes up 69% of the global gaming market.
What? Okay.
So,
that brings out so many questions.
the majority of that revenue comes from in-app game advertising, making $19.3 billion in revenue in 2022.
Game ads.
Yep.
Game ads. Interrupt my little hillside climber, hillside driver for an ad. Come on, you get billions. Make them more sparse.
How does that compare geographically? I would have to go dig deeper into the report. I didn't look at the geographic. Esports only makes up 0.8% of it.
Yeah.
Which is not much.
No. And this is talking about game sales, right? Or is it just
total game revenue?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Total video game and esports revenue in the U.S. was this is all the U.S. I'm talking about right here. So there we go.
U.S. Okay.
Yep. $54 billion last year. I'm not going to get into that kind of a goofy, so there's some terms in here that it's just going to be derp for the chat. Here we go. There's the thingy. Yeah, traditional console gaming makes up a very small amount.
Huh.
$9 billion for traditional console, 5.4 for PCs. And this is my message to everybody. Actually, so here's the good one. Right? I love this statistic right here.
Okay.
Because everybody who gripes to me about microtransactions, everybody, right? Come on.
Loading.
Okay, here we go. Digital PC game sell-through, 808 million. Right? That's how much sold in digital PC downloads last year.
That seems low.
Right? Microtransactions.
Oh no.
4.6 billion.
No. They won. Oh.
When everybody comes to ask us, why is microtransactions? Because Because y'all are paying for it.
Okay, this doesn't differentiate between purely cosmetic things and pay to win mechanics. There's pay to win mechanics that are like, I think that's egregious. If you're charging someone extra in order to get something that is necessary to progress through the game or to be competitive, F you into the camera. But cosmetic stuff like Destiny or skins and stuff like that.
A lot of people buy that stuff, yeah.
And I would assume that a lot of the skin transactions are probably Fortnite.
I'm not even talking about the fact that you can do the skins and stuff like that, or the ethical side of the microtransactions thing. I'm just saying, when people are like, why are all the games putting microtransactions in?
Because it works.
Because it works.
Yeah.
Because y'all are paying for it. Because the gaming industry, and this is PC, right? This isn't even...
Oh, shit.
This isn't even... I'm not even talking about the other ones. Oh, my gosh. Oh, console gaming. Let's look at console gaming.
People need to get their gems in JPEGs.
Online microtransaction for console, 1.8 billion.
Wait, it's lower than PC microtransactions? You got it. I'm so disappointed in everyone right now. I'm so disappointed. It's like a third. Wow. Okay.
Now, in the case of PCs, microtransactions far outpace actual game sales. Wow. Right? By a factor of like 3. Right?
Okay.
So, and then you talk about casual gaming again. Now, somebody else in the YouTube chat brought up, people keeping their phones out during meetings. Your smartphone is the console that everybody has, which is absolutely 100% true, right? Because like you talk a lot about in console gaming or PC gaming, the thing that they ask about, especially with consoles, is install base, right? Yeah. How much potential sales does a PS5 exclusive game have? It's based on the install base of the PS5. And a lot of how they negotiate these things is, hey, look at how big our console base is, right? PlayStation can go, our console base is twice the size of Xbox. Put your exclusive on our platform, right? And that's one of the ways they sell that concept, right? And again, it's, so it's not surprising that casual gaming is that much bigger. By the way, traditional gaming shrank almost a full percentage point.
Wow.
This last year, I should say.
I mean, I have some thoughts on that. It was specifically this past year. I think places going fully return to office might have a pretty significant impact on that.
Could have an impact on that.
Because,
gas and food and everything else being cheaper. Because let's face it, gaming is a luxury item. And we're going to talk about this closer to the end of the stream. It's still a luxury item.
Not only is it a luxury of your money, it's a luxury of your time. And if you're spending, let's be real, if you work in Seattle and live up in Lynnwood where we are, if you work normal 9 to 5, you're looking at 2 hours of commuting every day.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what I used to do.
Yeah, where otherwise you could spend that if you were at home, maybe shave off a little bit of time, play some games.
Yeah.
What's up, David? I can think of at least one microtransaction heavy game that's a PC exclusive, and that's League of Legends. Yeah, I would be really curious to see what portion of that money on PC microtransaction is specifically League of Legends and Fortnite, or like the big ones.
I imagine you could probably suss it out by reading their 10Ks for both.
Yeah.
Then again, this is actually the nice thing about the video game industry is there's actually data out there, right? Yeah. There's actually a lot of data out there. PC games are generally cheaper or free, so that probably counts for lower sales. Possible.
Yeah.
What was the last big game that everyone plays is talking about? I mean, right now it's kind of Diablo, but Elden Ring is the last one that I remember being like massive. Tears of the Kingdom has been pretty big.
I played it last night. Yeah. No, the free-to-play market is...
Does Roblox or Minecraft sell skins? I don't know about Minecraft, but Roblox does have a microtransaction system.
Minecraft sells hella skins and adventures. Whenever you launch it on the Microsoft Store or on your Xbox, the first thing that you see is the marketplace.
Okay.
And they sell realms now too, which is, you know, a
Yeah,
silver
yeah,
rental
yeah.
thing. But yeah, they'll sell like $5 skin packs or $5 adventure packs, and they get deals with like for like SpongeBob, things like that.
Roblox is massive.
Roblox is massive.
People talking about Roblox. Like, Roblox. Now, here's the thing: a lot of people, Roblox is stealth massive. Because if you don't have kids,
You don't know.
you don't really know about Roblox. Like, I didn't know a lot about Roblox until my daughter really started heavily playing it.
Yeah.
And there's some really cool stuff in Roblox because Roblox is a fan marketplace too. Like, they've got a whole creation system for you to build and sell your own games within their ecosystem, which I think is amazing.
We've had people make the joke before of like, why would I buy any other game whenever Roblox has all the games? That
Roblox does have all the games.
There's a Counter-Strike game.
And there's oh my god, there is so many like reskins of like FNAF and COD and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it gets bonkers.
I think like we as adults are like, what the Roblox, Fortnite? But when you're a kid, you know, you don't have to go ask your parents for money to start playing this game. And I was part of the generation, but even increasingly so, maybe less so, games are kind of raising kids a little bit. Like, you're quiet for an hour, just go do that. And if the kid's like, this is $5, I want this skin, you're like, you know what, $5, yeah, sure. And it trickles in, and eventually you're in for more than $60 of what it would have cost.
Yeah, now I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious where Roblox falls within PricewaterhouseCoopers' analysis of casual versus traditional. It's got to be under the casual because it's primarily a mobile and tablet-based thing. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these things spin off this way from Roblox. Again, I think the Roblox platform is super, super neat.
Fortnite creative, the top creator gets paid $500,000 per month. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. And also, I mean, here's the thing: gaming overall is still double the size of the film industry in the U.S.
Yeah,
that's the other thing that came out. I mean, it's twice the size of the film industry. It's like 5 times the size of the music industry. It is the primary form of entertainment for, I would say now, a plurality, if not a majority of the country.
Which I find it funny that like films are this like universally celebrated thing of like, oh, gotta see it. It is the art form, and video games are still kind of like it's grown, but there's still sections of the population that are like, nah. Like, dude, this is double. This is double what you're excited to go see on the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, it's making more money than that. So maybe it's because it's way newer. It's like a quarter of the age.
I mean, but to anybody who's like, why is so much attention paid to these? And here's the thing, and we've talked about this. Microsoft's not buying Activision for WoW. They're buying it for Candy Crush.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. If this was not your indication that Microsoft is buying Activision for Candy Crush,
yes,
right? Getting Diablo and WoW and all the Blizzard properties, that's a bonus. Call of Duty, that's a bonus. Yeah. No, what they want is they want that beautiful mobile gaming market.
Yep. And when I make the thumbnail for Microsoft acquiring Activision, it has the sub companies. It's like, you know, Blizzard, whatever, King. I see that and I'm like, King Games. That's what they want. I should.
King Games is huge.
Yeah.
Yep. And that it is. It's the thing that they absolutely want.
Which is interesting. You'd think Candy Crush would have kind of moved out of, like, things cycle in popularity, but been around forever.
I mean, I don't know what the active player base of Candy Crush is. I know that like Match 4s and that, I mean, there's a new Match 4 probably released every single day on the App Store. So
and there's ads for them.
And again, what do we say? In-game advertising was $19 billion last year.
It's ridiculous. You know what the first game to break, not the first game, but the first mobile game to break $1 billion was? I'm sure you know.
First game to break $1 billion?
Yeah, first mobile game.
No.
Angry Birds.
That doesn't surprise me.
Off of a 99-cent purchase.
Yeah.
Well, you can't buy it for 99 cents anymore. But yeah, they did that, and that was years ago when they broke a bill. Crazy.
Tetris is still good. Farmville. Oh yeah. No, there's all kinds of stuff.
Is Farmville still a thing?
Oh yeah, Farmville's still a thing. I mean, Facebook games are still a thing. That's the thing too, is I think a lot of us, especially in our generation, because we've left Facebook, we forgot about Facebook games.
I'm not sitting alone in the middle of a field in Kentucky anymore with barely internet, so I don't play Farmville anymore because I've moved away. But hey, if it's still working, there you go.
So
Wow. So what do you glean from this report?
I mean, I
Wrapping up.
glean that esports still has a lot of room for growth. I think that that's really one of the relevant pieces that I take out of this is I don't think they've fully figured out with how big the gaming industry is.
Yeah.
I don't think they've fully figured out how to build that into this, right? And I think there's a lot of room for growth in the esports market.
So what I'm hearing is Candy Crush esports.
They already have it. Yeah. Oh no, they have Candy Crush esports. In fact, there was a news story about a lady who accidentally joined the World Championship and like got deep, like deep, and it was her kid who figured it out like a week in. That she's like, by the way, you know you're in the World Championship, right? And she's like, what? Like, no, that was a thing that happened.
I'm trying not to be like hoity-toity, like PCMR, but to a broader extent. But when you said there is, the deflation that happened internally for me was just so intense, and I just want to recognize that. It just,
Yeah.
oh God.
Yep. So there you go. Let us know what you guys think about this. In fact, our next topic, we're going to roll pretty much into our next topic here in a second. But again, if you have any things you want us to talk about in the chat toward the end of the show, please drop it in the chat window, no matter what platform you're on. Producer Pete will grab it and throw it in our chat topics. You guys have already given us 2 for tomorrow. The ones that do that.
Grab this because it was a good statement.
Yes, I agree, and we might talk about that toward the end of the show.
Yeah, Odious, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, topic number 3 today. Kick's trying to come for Twitch.
Oh God.
They're coming for Twitch. Obviously, anybody who's been paying attention, Twitch made some missteps about a week and a half ago.
Brother, that's an understatement.
Pete, will you please let everybody know what Twitch did?
Okay, so Twitch has they do 50-50 split for sub revenue for affiliates. That's been a thing for a while. Whenever you hit partner, which is 75 concurrent viewers and a few other metrics, which is a pretty good thing to hit. If you're partner, that's pretty good. They would do, it used to be under an NDA, you couldn't discuss it, but mostly it was like a 70-30 split. You'd keep 70%, not bad. They rolled that back to 50-50 for partners and affiliates, and people were like, well, why even do partner?
Yeah.
Along with some other changes,
Yes.
Twitch caught a lot of flack, so much flack, and they were like, oh, well, hey, hold on, we've got this thing for you.
What I liked was they were like, oh, sorry, that wasn't actually what we were trying to do. It was a mistake.
Yeah, oopsie. It was they said, poorly communicated.
Poorly communicated.
Here's what we meant to say. So they're like, now introducing this new program called Partner Plus. And people were like, oh, okay, I'll listen. And they posted the rules for it. Now with Partner Plus, you have to have 350 recurring subs, monthly subs. Doesn't count prime subs and doesn't count gifted subs.
Yep.
It has to be a person, singular person, subscribing with their money. 350 subs or more, and you have to apply for it every year. After 12 months, it rolls off. Somebody did the math, looked it up. The only people that this would pertain to, like apply to, are the top 1,000 streamers on Twitch. Only the top 1,000 streamers on Twitch can get the 70-30 split in this Partner Plus program. So once that came out, everybody was like, this is not a W. This is actually
Worse.
More insulting that you're further causing this to happen. And I actually saw Rubber Ross, who I love. You may be familiar with him from Game Grumps. He's an animator. He lit them up on Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, you're doing this and you don't have any discoverability options, whatever, for new streamers. And I've seen it over the last 5 or 6 years, discoverability on Twitch is
Low.
turbo. So yeah, there you go. There's the explanation of what Twitch did. Now, Kick. I'm going to kick it over to you.
So Kick has made now, in the last week, Kick has made 2 huge deals, right? One, what we know is it was at least $100 million to XQC to bring them over to Kick, right? Now, you were telling me that that's not even exclusive. XQC is allowed to stream to other platforms.
He is allowed to stream to other platforms. They just wanted him there.
Okay, so $100 million for that, and then this morning it was broken out. Amouranth has also signed a deal with Kick, which will be, I'm sure, of significant sum of money.
And don't harsh on Amouranth. She's smart as hell. She has not disclosed the amount, probably for a good reason. Yeah,
because I actually wouldn't be surprised if it's more than what they gave XQC.
And do you want to say what their split is in revenue for subscriptions?
I didn't actually. It's like 80-20 or
keep going.
90-10? 95-5?
95-5.
So, okay. So now this is what's been happening the last couple of weeks, and now we're going to get into the nuts and bolts. All right, break down the Twitch thing more. And in fact, I'm going to break down a couple more things just because somebody else brought up YouTube. So YouTube is coming after Twitch as well, and we're going to talk about that in a second.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Basically, what happened was Twitch has been systematically over the last couple of years slowly angering their creators. Right? With some of the decisions they've been making about splits and about how ad revenue was being done and about how sub revenue was being done. And now they've got some new stuff for their premium partner programs, and it's just been a mess.
And it's irritated us too, just trying to figure things out.
Oh yeah, and it has been a frustration for us as well. Kick is another competing streaming service like Mixer was, right? And so now what they're doing is they're pulling the Mixer. Mixer went after Ninja. They went after a bunch of big streamers to try and lure them over the platform. And YouTube, what they're doing, as opposed to signing these giant deals, and I'm going to say why here in a second, I think YouTube's smarter about it, and here's why.
I think so. You're
signing a $100 million deal with XQC, and again, we don't know the intricacies of that deal or what amount of it is guaranteed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe I imagine the $100 million is the top end of what he could possibly earn, not what's actually guaranteed.
There's more. We're gonna get there, chat. This is a complicated web.
What YouTube's done is they actually lowered their thresholds for partner, right, by half,
which is a good move. Period.
Right. So now that Pete and I are still unclear at this stage as to whether it's like a different level of partner and it only allows you to unlock lives or like live subscription stuff on YouTube. We're still not clear on that, but what it is now your first level of monetization, where it used to be 1,000 subs and 1,000 live hours, it's now 500 and 500.
Okay.
Right? It's way lower.
Really?
Okay. No, not 500 and 500. It's 500 and 3,000. Sorry, it went from 4,000 to 3,000, but only 500 subs.
It's a significant cut, though.
It's a significant cut in what you're required to do to meet that. Now, the thing with Twitch used to be, getting to affiliate is not the challenge. You can do it. A lot of people can get to affiliate. Getting to affiliate is doable. Sometimes it takes a little longer. Sometimes it's a grind, but you can do it. And most of the grind for that really is followers and concurrent viewers, because you can get to the watch hours and stream hours pretty easily. Like number of days streamed in a month, and then how many hours you stream in a month. Those ones are the easy ones to do. Now, again, they're doing weird stuff with their thing. It used to be really easy to get to affiliate, so at least you were monetized. YouTube, it's always taken a lot longer to get to the monetization.
It's a very slow snowball.
But once you're at monetization, the payouts on YouTube are a little better, right? And a little more consistent.
Once you get there, you're grandfathered in, and it is just more consistent. They make less sweeping changes.
Yes.
Do we want to get into the Kick thing?
So Kick is apparently powered by gambling and crypto, by gambling sites and crypto.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. The only reason, somebody said it in the chat, RIP Mixer and bleed cash. So yes, that's what Kick is doing right now. They are bleeding bleeding cash.
Yep.
I don't know how long they can keep up that pace. That's the big question.
How big is the crypto gambling market? Also,
Tough to say.
if you move to Kick, reminder that crypto is still very up and down. Things can fluctuate by up to 10% daily on their prices. And if the crypto market tanks again, that capital that's funding that site, gone. So whereas Mixer was owned by Microsoft and they were like, hey, in a month and a half, we're shutting it down. You guys should go to Facebook Live, whatever, whatever. With Kick and how rapidly that market can deteriorate, you could try to sign on tomorrow and it would be done. I don't know.
So I don't think Twitch is bleeding cash anymore. Again, I would have to sit down and look at their 10K to get it. I don't think Amazon keeps Twitch around this long if they're still bleeding cash. So I think Twitch is probably a profitable venture for Amazon at this point, or they would have dumped it.
Amouranth made a good point about that.
Go ahead.
As far as them not being profitable, she said you need to think of ways to bring in more money. You don't cut your content creators' pay to make yourself profitable and keep squeezing them and squeezing them.
Yeah.
Because eventually it's not going to be worth, they're not going to make any funding to pay themselves by streaming. Because then they have to go outside and get sponsorships. But what do we know about Twitch?
Oh, that was the other thing that Twitch was trying to shut down was in-stream sponsors. Right? That was the other thing, and I
can't tell you. My eyes almost rolled a 360-degree turn in my head.
When they were like, no more in-ad sponsorships.
No more.
Or in-stream.
Your logo for your stream can only be, they said, 3% of the screen. And I was like, okay, OBS doesn't have a percentage of my screen metric here. I get pixels. Am I supposed to whip out a calculator?
Yeah, that's what they want.
Yeah.
Whip out that calculator and tell us what it is.
The problem with Kick also is if you're very socially minded, they're Elon stands, but also there's some straight up like gambling streams on there. I've heard tell of people just straight up doing coke on stream. Like it's the Wild West. And with that,
which is why we haven't moved to Kick yet.
You may get some chatters that you don't want to interact with.
Yeah. Somebody brought up like it's a good time to get in on Kick and get your stream niche before others come over. Yes, but
I agree.
Yes, but the risk that you're taking is again, it's the Wild West. Using Prime does give streamers money. To answer the question, yes, using your Prime sub does give us a chunk of revenue. I think we get
a 50-50 split.
We get 50-50 split on Prime
until, and the thought is with this whole thing, with the way Twitch is going, they're going to try to eventually. The speculation is they're going to try to eliminate Prime subs eventually because it's just costing them money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it doesn't count towards some metrics. Prime subs are weird. Like, if you have them, drop them.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Helpful. It still helps the streamer.
But Twitch is being super cagey about it.
Yeah. So we're not really. Yeah. Again, we're kind of holding off on the move to Kick.
We had a discussion and we were like,
yeah. And so the difficult thing in this market now is once the market gets to the thing, Prime subs don't cost you anything. If you have Amazon Prime, your Amazon Prime subscription comes with one Prime sub that you can give out to a streamer.
Dog Dad, I will upload that video that I recorded on how to do a Prime sub. I won't do the voiceover because it's the video and you can follow along. And I'll unlist it, but you'll be able to access. I'll just send you the link.
Yep.
Send people a link.
The thing about YouTube competitors, and like there's a couple YouTube-ish competitors, they've never gotten really big. Vimeo.
Vimeo has been around for a minute.
Vimeo's been around for a minute, but none of them come even anywhere close
yeah.
to YouTube size. Honestly, I think what's going to happen with Kick, and this is kind of where we'll end this topic, I think Kick's going to burn a lot of cash. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to make a big splash for about 6 months.
Yeah. Well, here's the
thing. And I think they're toast.
Here's what I would advise from my years of doing this. I'm not going to do Kick for us yet until they have some sort of like safeguards in place because we just don't. seeing chat is one thing, but you start inviting in, if somebody's like doing coke on stream and whatever, this is a platform to get people in the doors of the store and get that. And then once you get kind of that people coming in, they're not going to mesh super well with you all. If you're just trying to grow your platform and start out streaming, by all means, go do that. And if Kick does crash and burn, you can just announce to your people that you're moving over to another platform. Yeah, maybe 50% of them will follow you, but you've already got that base there. So if you're starting out streaming, I would definitely recommend it. Like, it's not a bad thing to choose a new platform and build that way.
No, it's
because
not.
there's not oversaturation.
Well, and you've talked about it a lot. Discoverability on Twitch from the times when you were a Twitch streamer years ago.
It's bad.
To now is terrible.
Yeah.
It's hard to find new streamers on Twitch. Twitch is very much focused on their whales. And so somebody put in the chat, the fact that you have to make a video is the problem with Prime subs. Yep.
Yeah.
So, let us know what you think. I'm curious, but yeah, my prediction is Kick's gonna burn out. Pete, what do you think? I think 6 months, maybe 9, and it's done.
I think it maybe also depends on regulations. Is crypto gambling illegal? Gambling cash is illegal. Until we start regulating crypto, once that starts getting regulated, I think it'll really start to.
Somebody says some streamers using Discord stage for streaming moving forward. I need to look more into that. The problem with Discord is this closed ecosystem.
I do think that I've thought about us using Discord. I think it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at it.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Sorry for all the caveats in that. It was.
What if TikTok makes a Twitch-like live stream? They already have it. They just it's very. It took us what, a month?
Oh.
And Andrew doesn't even have it.
Yeah, you guys here? I'll give you some inside baseball here. Sorry for headbutting the camera. Andrew doesn't have it. Yeah. I requested game streaming on Twitch. Actually, why we can stream to TikTok via the PC is I requested it. I sent a support email. And they're like, yeah, it's A/B testing. Only like a small percentage of people have it. And I just kept on. TikTok Studio, yeah. I was like, why? Well, how can I get it?
Yep.
And they're like, it's just A/B testing. I was like, okay, but what can I do to be the A or the B?
Yeah.
And just kept on. And eventually they're like, fine, have it.
Yeah. When we first got it, Andrew didn't have it. He may have it now, but I know when we first got it, he was like, wait, you guys got it?
I actually heard Andrew swear pretty loudly when he walked back.
Okay, he must have it now. TikTok chat's telling me he has it now.
Okay.
Yeah, when we first got it, he didn't. He was like,
he
what?
walked back here and he was like, how the did you get this? I was like, I'm just good.
Yeah, TikTok does have a thing. I know it's you, Chris.
What's up, Chris?
I know who you are. So yeah, apparently Andrew does have it now. I'll redo a healer clip. TikTok is the Wild West in a lot of ways when it comes to streaming. I have literally ran across Beyond the Spider-Verse live streaming multiple times in the last 5 days.
I kind of love that though. It reminds me of the early internet. Yeah, it reminds me of like early 2000s.
And again, so if you want to watch it on a small ass screen, and again, because you can't
portrait mode.
You can't go to fucking portrait mode.
Well, they have. Here's the thing. TikTok has landscape mode. And you can stream on it, but I was like, I was doing some research, and basically everybody's like, they're just not going to turn their phone sideways.
No.
They don't know it's a thing, and they'll see it and be like, roll their eyes and go. I'm like,
yep.
Really? This action is enough for them to be like, nah.
Nope. Dead serious.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no. Somebody else in the chat said they've seen it every night for the past week. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
TikTok's going to have to completely retrain their audience. Because their audience now has, since pandemic, basically, a expectation of this style of video.
Yeah.
And that's what they want.
It is. I'm a little older, right? From all my training, this sudden shift, like it used to be when somebody was filming vertical and they would post like, video of the cops or whatever, or a Denny's fight. People were like, hey, a-hole, why don't you turn your phone sideways?
Yep.
And now it's just
the opposite.
Pandemic. It's just there. I'm like, wow, that's it now.
Yeah.
It
is. This is the expectation, is the up down.
It hurts my soul a little bit, but I'm just old and need to get with the times.
Yes. They're gonna have to really retrain their audience. Okay.
There you go, chat. Inside baseball.
Last topic of the day. We've had a lot of conversations lately about how expensive our lovely nerd hobbies are.
Mm-hmm.
And they can get a little pricey.
Yes.
Barrier to entry being a huge issue for some of these things. And this kind of goes back into the concept of basically how do these, well, somebody brought up in chat, like Magic.
Yeah.
Magic, everybody thinks is a super expensive hobby to really get into.
I think to compete.
To be hyper competitive, it is expensive.
And especially if you have a friend group that won't, like we're talking about with Oscar, take their level of deck and like bring it down to a 4 instead of an 8.
Yep.
It's gonna be pretty expensive.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Why Magic singles are a thing.
It is why they are a thing. Fight sticks, expensive AF. Yep.
That's true.
I don't know, chat. Let us know what you think. Like, I thought we had a little more like brain power on the front end of this one, but
yeah, sorry.
It's hard to jump into this one.
Well, because we're kind of in a weird spot too, because we do like to play games, but we also run the store, so we know what pricing on stuff is, and we're a little more maybe sympathetic because we kind of get why stuff is expensive sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're like, we have a weird balance here. So many versions of cards that they're super cheap version of a lot of cards nowadays. That's true. There will be a reprint of a card that is like 4 cents versus buying the whatever version everybody wants that's $15.
So Chad brings up, love how the basic idea of playing as an adult is gated by time and money and considered a luxury when it is literally needed for well-being. This is the difficulty. It is considered a luxury good, right? You know, like straight up like Maslow style, right?
Yeah.
It's not food, shelter, water. You know.
Yeah.
At best, you could put it on the second tier, which is that social connection, you know, tier. Somebody in the chat saying $70 for a video game is ridiculous. I would actually disagree. I think most AAA games should be $79. We've talked about this on stream.
You have a different
before
thought on that. Class. Oh, Kelsey brought up Warhammer.
Yeah, you can buy really cheap models on the secondary market. Yeah, you can get some decent stuff on eBay. It's really, so I would say Warhammer is less pay to win. And honestly, I'm sticking by what I've been saying for the last few weeks. Warhammer's cheaper than Magic. Even at the competitive level.
I have dropped more on Lord of the Rings cards this past week than I have ever spent on Warhammer, period.
Yep. Magic, and again, like somebody brought up, it's never been cheaper to play EDH because there's so many versions of cards now with the reprints and same mechanics but different names and stuff like that they've done, that there's always a cheap version of a lot of cards.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that statement. Again, Warhammer, once you've got your base army set, the amount that you've got to like continue to buy to stay even in the competitive space is not very much.
Yeah.
A box every 6 months or so.
I like this thing that George said. When I was a kid, I had all the time but no games, and now that I'm an adult, I have all the games and no time. Yeah.
That's very true.
That's very true. I had 2 games I would play, and yeah.
It's easier with tabletop. We can speak on that a little better. So part of the reason tabletop games are so expensive, part of the reason is, for the most part, the distribution system is a 60, 70-year-old distribution system, and it is designed to chunk out cash at every stage of the distribution cycle, from manufacturer all the way through distributor to us, right? The issue that we run into is because that's an old model and everything else, everybody's got to kind of get their piece at every stage, right? With the exception of things like Warhammer, which is self-distributed by Games Workshop. Games Workshop doesn't go through outside distribution. We buy directly from GW, but we don't buy directly from Wizards. We don't buy directly from the Pokemon company.
Right.
Right? All of the other stuff, most of the board games, with the sole exception being anything made by Asmodee, we don't buy it from the manufacturer. Right? We buy it through a third-party distributor who all the manufacturers send all their crap to.
Right.
Right? And again, it makes it mean that stuff is just going to be more expensive.
I can tell you from experience, because I spent quite a number of years working in IT in distribution centers.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of running distribution centers is
high,
unbelievable. If you think that just ship it to me, like these card games and stuff, it's got to be stored somewhere. You have to pay somebody to inventory it, receive it, pick it. Like, especially if they live around here or in the U.S., growing wages and stuff like that, you have to pay somebody $15 to $20 an hour just to go grab it off the rack.
Yeah, for sure.
Not saying that it's not a valuable job. I've done it. They're working their butts off.
Oh, yeah.
But you have 20 hands touching it before it gets to you, and all of those people have to be paid a minimum of $15 an hour. Otherwise, they're not going to do that job.
Yeah.
And it's, again, not to make excuses for games being expensive as they are, but like you said, the distribution system and everything of it is so dated now that you can't pay anybody $2 an hour to pick that anymore. So something's got to be kind of reconfigured, I think.
I'm getting a little bit of steady creeping on the cost of RPG books, so I don't love it from WotC, but here's the straight up, like the honest answer.
Yeah, you've paid,
okay.
Yes.
So I would be curious what chat thinks the cost to develop what I would call a AAA level RPG is, right? And I'm talking about something that is going to be between 225 and 300 pages, right? With nice art, glossy pages, because the expectation in the industry, if you want to sell your book now, is hardcover, full color interior, glossy pages.
Yep.
Okay? Before you even get close to printing a single book to get to a PDF, right? You're at least, and again, this is if you are paying roughly market rate, if you're going to chunk it out with freelance writers, editors, because you need two different types of editors, layout people, things like that. You are in the range of at least $50,000. That's before you sell a single book. That's before you print a single book. Now, I'm actually fine telling people this now because we've lowered the price of Identico to the point where we're really not making much money on it, truthfully. The print cost of Identico in China, plus the cost of shipping from China, right, to the U.S., duty is very, very low on books because importation of books is cheap. They don't really tariff it.
Right.
It's about $12.25 a book.
Okay.
Landed cost.
And
that was, by the way, that was 5 years ago.
I was going to say, and then your garage is stacked wall to wall with books.
Okay. That was 5 years ago. Okay. It is more now because shipping has gone up.
Yeah.
Right. So before you print a book, it's $50,000 just to do this. The problem with the Mexican market as far as book printing is it's not cheaper than China still.
Really?
So U.S. to get the same book printed, again, this was about 4 years ago. I haven't looked recently. I got to imagine it's gone up. To get the same book printed at mass, right? And you're talking about you have to print at least 1,000 to get these prices, right?
Right. Yes.
You have to print at least 1,000 books, right? U.S. printing costs for that same book that we paid $12.25 landed from China because of the labor cost, because of everything else, to get that printed in the U.S. is going to be at least $23 a book. Minimum.
So double.
Okay. Mexico was sitting right around 17. Shipping was cheaper, but it was still more expensive to produce.
Okay.
So, and somebody in the thing is saying, I'd be more than happy to go back to nice, pretty core books and paperback black and white supplements. You are the only one. That, I mean, I just to not put too fine a point on it, there's like 5% of the market that's willing to do that now. Again, the expectation has changed.
Well, we've gotten here's just a thought that popped into my head.
Yeah.
More and more in the gaming space, and we've seen it with especially tabletop, there is, I don't want to say an expectation, but we're seeing more and more of these bespoke things, these shiny baubles,
Yes.
these special versions of whether it be dice or books or whatever, DM screens. And then we get larger companies that are like, oh, they're taking a chunk out of what we could make, so they start making it. And then you're like, well, why would I get third party when I can just get, not you all, because you all support indie things quite a bit at this store, but the average person is like, well, why would I get third party, wait for shipping, whenever I can just spend a little more and get this first party thing, and it's at my door 2 days from now.
Yeah.
So it's just a thought that I had. I'm not an executive. I can't speak on that, but
How can I be the only one if they're so much cheaper? I don't know what it is about it. Chat, that makes it that people just won't buy it. Again, I have talked to a lot of publishers in the space. I was actually talking to a friend of mine not too long ago because he's getting ready to release his book. It's just the truth. The thing is, part of it's market saturation. Part of it is people. It's just they want it to be very visually appealing.
yeah,
Right. That standard has been set within the tabletop industry, specifically within RPGs. Right. And that's just what they've decided.
Can I just say that there's a little bit of like, is it irony, something of these books about the theater of the mind need to be bright and more colorful and better printed to enable you to give the game structure to
cost PDF. We've always sold the PDF cheaper than we have the hardcore book. I think we've got the PDF set at $14.99 right now.
It's been that way for a minute.
So again, even before you get to printing costs. So now let's say you get into distribution. The distributors take 30% off the top. Retail stuff, they've got to make between 40 and 50 to even make it worth carrying because retail space is expensive. So if you print a book for 12, if you sell it to distribution, you're going to be lucky to get 18, right? They're going to sell it to me for 25 on a $49.99 MSRP. That's the breakdown. That's the breakdown.
I
now,
will say
cards are different. Cards, because there is no MSRP on Magic and Pokemon, it's goofy.
Thank you, Dog Dad. We actually got a lot of compliments at ECC. I helped man the Identico booth, and not only were they like, "Oh, you guys are one of the few cyberpunk RPGs here," but they were like, "This is a really well-priced book. Thank you."
Because we also dropped the price down from the MSRP.
But it was weird to see that shifted the price so much that people who are giving us cash are like, "Oh, thank you for not overcharging me for this." I was like, "Oh, this is a weird situation."
Companies can undercut you because they can order millions of books at a time. That is also true. That is another reason why, again, indies have a hard time taking off in the tabletop space. Card games, again, it's getting people to switch. And it's not about getting one person. You've got to get enough people to switch kind of at once to build a solid market for it.
I mean, so you kind of get WotC messing up to drive business elsewhere.
Which is what happened earlier this year. Now, I don't think, now that I'm starting to see it, here's the thing, and this is something I've noticed recently, and I'm going to keep watching over the course of the summer. We had that initial pushback on Wizards after the whole OGL debacle.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people looking for other stuff. Now I'm back to a lot of people looking for D&D. Oh, we're learning D&D. We want D&D. 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 I'm hearing a lot more D&D these days.
You can roll D20s on so many other systems.
You can.
Yeah.
There's a lot of creators out there making very high quality items, but you'll never hear about them. And that's because, so again, you have to look at the supply curve. It's $50,000 to produce the book, and that's again before you sell a single one, right? Let's say you put it on Drive-Thru RPG and you get a 70-30 split, right? And let's say just for giggles, you price your PDF at $29.99, right? Okay, so that's 20.99. So before, PDF only, before you print a book, in order for you to break even, you must sell at least 2,383 copies.
A lot of garage space.
That's PDFs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now, if you want to break that down for, let's say you get into distribution and you get a sweetheart deal, right? To break even on distribution level stuff, you need to sell 5,556 copies of actual physical books.
Nope.
That's before you break even.
I couldn't blame somebody for just being like, nope. Done. Yikes, dude.
And people go, well, why aren't more people doing? And again, this kind of comes back to the thing. And go watch our YouTube channel. We did a video a little while ago about the dark side of TTRPG criticism, right? And we talked about that, and people are like, people want like actual credits and within the RPG space. No, they don't. No, they don't, because they don't want to pay for it, right? And the industry, you just can't get to it.
You also have to have, even if you were to do like, say, GameSpot, but for TTRPGs, you got to figure out how to run ads on that and monetize eyeballs being on it. If they're not gonna, you're not gonna directly pay a TTRPG critic. Like that's a weird one to try to monetize with ads.
PDF and hard copy. How much Identico have we sold? I don't have that number in front of me. I actually looked not too long ago, and I want to say the number's around 1,100. So no, we've never made our money back. Right? Just to give you an idea, so that the industry standard, and this is what most people want to see in a book, right? They want, how do I buy a hard copy of Identico in Euroland? We can ship it to you. Go to playidentico.com. We will ship it to you.
I think I have a command for that.
Maybe. Nope.
Oh, here.
Playidentico.com. We'll ship it to you. But the tax man, it's a book. So the general standard is a quarter page of art every 6 pages for an RPG book, right? And let's say you actually want to pay your artists fairly, and let's say you have a 250-page RPG book. That means you need 42 pieces, right, of art. Quarter page right now for, and I'm not saying anything about their talent or quality or anything like that in what I'm about to say, but I'm saying people who are mid-tier, right, like have done some stuff, are professionals. That no, it's not 1,800. So 1,800, you're getting closer to a full page piece. Again, depending on the artist, depending on the stuff, you're probably looking at least 18,800 in baseline art.
Yeah.
Of that 50
And I've met one of the main artists for Identico. He is the nicest person on the planet. And he lives in a pretty rural part. He's not charging to be rich. He's charging just to make his needs met.
Yeah.
Yeah. Art is a tough one. You want to be fair, but also you got bills to pay.
Back in 15,
Let me call
and again, the last time that I got like a solid number, that I was told a solid number by someone who'd done it, this was 15. Yeah. At that time, Wizards was paying about $2,500 for a cover art piece. That's a full wrap cover art piece. That was 2015. I don't think they're paying much more than that now. They're probably paying $3,000.
God Lord.
$3,000.
AI art looks so feasible, small businesses and startups. I have some thoughts on that. Sean Lieb and I actually came up with a potential way to fix this whole AI art problem.
So Wizards and Paizo, some of the bigger companies will get a deal on art because it's worth it for the artist to have that on their resume. I did the cover for the Dungeon Master's Guide. Full stop.
Yeah.
Okay. So Wizards can can get away with a little bit of that. Some of the bigger companies can get away with a little bit of that because they have the name behind it.
Yeah. We were in a booth across from a guy who did some D&D art, and he had a line, and his art's great.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
But I'm pretty sure that doing the D&D art was what that got it.
Oh,
Just
for sure.
had people the whole time.
For sure. So again, when people are like, you know, when people are like, how much is art? How much is these things? Like,
yeah. What was the original topic?
Hobbies being expensive.
Oh.
Part of the reason, and so actually this is a good way to round this out. We talk about hobbies being expensive. But the issue, and this is where I get frustrated, and maybe you can help me through this.
Yes.
I have in the same breath, sometimes the same people, saying, pay artists a fair wage, pay writers a fair wage, pay everybody money. These things should be less expensive because it's gate kept from people who don't have money.
Yeah. And then we can also tie that into microtransactions earlier. That'd be why. You know what? I'm just going to say it. Here's the core of the problem. Rent's too damn high.
Rent's too damn high.
That's it. That's it. Actually, it is a pretty good portion of the problem.
Rent's too damn high.
Rent's too damn high.
I wish I had a better solution for our audience and for the people out there. Tunstoffel, yeah, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. I wish I had a better solution for the gaming industry and for hobbies being less expensive. Do I think that there is a level of price gouging? I'll be honest, there's less price gouging in the gaming industry than there is in food. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, but then anyway, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I was going to say the one-piece price gouging, but that's big stores that do that mainly.
Yeah. No, we're not doing the price gouging. And we don't do that here at Heaven PNW. Come by the website, look at our merch store, go hang out with us. We're going to call this a show today. Hey, we've got some good stuff. We will be back tomorrow. We are doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday now. So that's going to be the thing. You're going to see a little less game streams. You're going to see more of these like, hey, everybody hang out. Oxygen bars. Oh, dear. Here we go.
I don't know what I'm going to do with that last clip. There was so much in that.
So yes, go to gamers7pnw.com. Check out our event schedule. The calendar is up there. It's being updated constantly. And also, again, new Yu-Gi-Oh sets this week. We'll have Lord of the Rings restock. We do still have some in stock. Everybody come hang out with us. We love you.
Oh, yeah, bye!
Bye! It's the ending song. We're going to sing an ending song. Oh, do-do-do-do.
For hanging
We
with
like
us.
the song. Then again with all the wildfires. Oh, no, not wildfires.
Not wildfires.
Oh, no.
Be safe.
Run
Make sure you
away.
invest in some air filters. See ya. Be great. We'll see you tomorrow. It's gotten long. Okay, mute. Bye. I love you.